Okay. So as I said, problem solving skill that is there, it means or it refers to a systematic process of identifying, analyzing, and resolving business challenges with the help of data analytics. Okay. Now let us take each one of them separately. First is identifying the business problem. What is done when we are actually identifying the business problem? We are trying to analyze or understand the business itself. In what type of company, which type of industry it belongs to, defining the specific problem or the question that is to be addressed, the problem that is to be addressed, collaborating with the various stakeholders to clarify the objectives and what they require as the desired outcome of that particular problem. So what answer they are expecting? What is the solution they are expecting? That is called as identifying the problem. So when you identify a problem, what do? You try to collaborate with the stakeholders, collect the information, clarify what is the problem and what solutions they are expecting, what outcomes they are expecting. So that is the first step. Okay. So let us take each one of them separately. So as I said, it is identifying the problem. First step. Second step is data collection and preparation. Collection of data and preparation. So data collection and separation. Third is what we call as data analysis. Okay. Fourth step will be generating insights after data analytics. You are generating insights. Okay. Generating insights. And finally, you are going to have decision making and implementing. Okay. Decision making and implementation. Okay. So these are the things which are involved in the problem solving skills. So let us take each one of them, starting with identifying the problem. So when we are saying identifying the problem, as I told you, what we are going to do is we are going to understand the business, the company, the industry to which it belongs to, the business context, define the specific problem affecting the business, the question that is to be addressed, the problem that is to be addressed, collaborating with the stakeholders, trying to clarify what they require, what is the desired outcome or the solution that they are looking for the problem. Second step, I said data collection, data preparation. It involves collection of relevant data from various sources, cleaning the data, organizing the data to ensure the accuracy and usability of the data. Third is data analysis, which involves analytical processes like applying statistical methods, visualization, exploratory data analysis to uncover the patterns, to uncover the trends, to find out the anomalies, testing hypotheses, and validating the assumptions. Right? The next step after data analysis is generating insights. Generating insights will be generated only when you are able to interpret the analytical results, derive the meaningful insights into those particular points that you have generated, and translate the technical findings into clear solutions, actionable recommendations, Okay. Decision support or decision making is the next step that is going to be there along with implementation. Those stakeholders who are facing the problem and who want a solution for this, help them to take a decision by presenting to them the evidence-based options with the proof, telling them that this particular data shows that this is the outcome, give them the cause-effect relationship, predict the potential outcomes, okay, of different strategies, strategy A, strategy B, strategy C, okay, tell them what are the potential outcomes and help them to take a decision as to what is that particular solution that they are looking for, solving the problem. Next item is implementing solutions and monitoring. That is, after your decision making is done, implementation and assisting the stakeholders in applying the recommendations or the recommended solutions, finding out, tracking the results, finding out the results, and trying to evaluate the effectiveness of those particular solutions on the problem that has been identified and checking whether it is actually solving the problem or okay. So these are the things that we are going to do in problem solving. Now, the question is, what are the different types of problems that are likely to be encountered by a data analyst? Can you tell me what are the different types of problems?
Or mismatched data.
Likely to be encountered. Yes. Yes, Rihan, you were saying something.
Yes, sir. Mismatched data and corrupted data.
Correct. Anything else?
And format of the data is like not proper, not in CSV or Excel format. So extension of the data and size of the data too. Because if the larger the data, then we require more computational power. So the size of the data too.
Right. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. We will divide this, the types of problems into about 5 to 7 categories. Okay. So let us try to identify each one of those categories and what all types of problems are covered under that category. So first is data quality problems. Data quality problems. We'll take up each one of them. Second is data integration and access. Data integration and access issues. Third is data interpretation and insight generation. Data interpretation and insight generation. Okay. Fourth, technical, you can say. Technical and the tools which are to be applied. So technical and tool related challenges. Technical and tool related challenges. Fifth one, understanding the business understanding problem. I suppose you can see my Excel. Even typing on Excel.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
You can see my Excel now.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay. So business understanding problem. Sixth one, what can we say? What else remains? Anything that you can think of?
So like education, like highly educated person.
No. Predictive
No.
and prescriptive analytical challenges. Can have one more. Most important one. Ethical and privacy concerns. Now these are the categories. These are not the problems. These are the categories of problems. अभी हर category में क्या breakup हो सकता है? So let us take each one of them. Starting with data quality problems. Data quality problems, I can have missing data problems, incomplete data sets, inaccurate, as Rehan said, inaccurate, inconsistent data entries, duplication of records, data redundancy, outliers, anomalies. So these points you can. Data quality problems, quality of data. That means your data is not perfect. You have to make the necessary rectifications, the corrections. So missing data has to be either that particular missing cell has to be deleted or you have to feed in the data. Incomplete data sets. You are not given the complete set. Let us say we are looking for a 12-month sales figures and we are not able to we can talk about outdated data also. That is irrelevant data or inconsistent data. So I mentioned inconsistent data is also outdated data. So data which are outliers, data which are anomalies, that will cover all that data that you are talking, right? So that is about data quality problems. Second is data integration and access issues. अभी इसमें क्या आ सकता है? Consolidation of data. You are collecting data from different sources. So consolidation and compiling of data from multiple sources or in multiple formats, which you have to now consolidate and prepare into one single standard form. So that difficulty is called as data integration. Integration matlab consolidation. Access issues, access restrictions to relevant data. You have got the data from a particular source, but there is access problem. Now, for example, insurance policy मैंने download किया, but download करने के बाद it is not opening. It is asking for password, right now. So access restrictions. So access restrictions to relevant data because of security concerns, privacy concerns, lack of real-time data availability. I don't have as of now what is the current figure. Okay, so number of people who are affected by that Ebola virus. I may not have the real-time data. I can tell you the data till last week. So real-time data is not available. So access issues. Okay, so that is data integration and data access issues. Third one, I have said data interpretation and insight generation. Insight generation. Data mila hai. Let us say I have got the data of the revenue of the company of the last 5 years, the last 10 years. What has happened to that revenue? Interpretation. Kuch pattern hai kya? Increasing pattern, decreasing pattern, or is it a set of complex data where there is no pattern at all, right? Coming out with conclusions or valid conclusions from that given data without a bias or without misleading the correlations. So the right interpretation should come. That is one of the problems. Communicating the insights, what insights you have developed when you are analyzing the data, what insights you have developed, okay? And how you are going to effectively communicate that to the stakeholders. Because you may have got some technical information, but conveying that to the stakeholders may be a difficulty, a challenge for you, right? Next one is technical and tool related changes. Selecting the right analytical tools, technologies for data cleaning, for data analysis, for data visualization. As I told you, that I can do data cleaning with the help of Excel also, simple Excel, or I can make use of Power Query also to do the same data cleaning process, right? So that can be one of the challenges, that can be one of the problems. Managing large amount of data sets, huge volume of data, to manage them, to integrate them, okay? Selecting the right tool for that purpose. Automating the repetitive data task and workflows. So these can be the technical and tool related challenges. Business problem understanding, understanding the business problem. We said in the last session, in the last part, that we have to understand what is the problem. And we have to understand what is the solution that the stakeholders are looking for. So translating ambiguous or complex business questions into clear, analyzable problems, which all the stakeholders can understand, right? Aligning all the analysis objectives with the strategic business plans, with the strategic business goals. Prioritizing problems. You have got n number of problems, say 10 problems are there. Which is the first problem to be addressed? Prioritizing the problems that have the maximum impact on the business. Next one, it is predictive and prescriptive analytics challenges. Predictive and prescriptive analytics challenges. Predictive forecasting. Building accurate forecasting models with a limited quantity of reliable data. Integrating external factors affecting business outcomes. That can be a challenge because external factors are not within your control. So integrating the external factors affecting the business objectives, business outcomes. Recommending actionable steps. Prescriptive analytics. Recommendation of actionable steps which are based on your data findings. Right? The last one, ethics, privacy concerns. Ensuring data compliance with rules and regulations. Handling sensitive customer or employee data responsibly. For example, biometrics are there. So when Aadhaar card was done in India, they have collected the biometrics. So all biometrics is the sensitive information of customers, of people in India. In a company, it is the employees who are there or the customers who are there. Okay. So handling sensitive customer information. If you look at analytics from the point of view of a commerce student, when we are talking about assets of a business, we have land, building, plant, machinery, and so on. But one of the most important in that is customer list, which is actually an intangible asset. Customer list is an intangible asset because it will help us to generate revenue. But at the same time, the privacy of that has to be maintained, because if that customer list goes to your competitor, then there will be he will take away all your customers. Revenue is going to be affected, business will collapse. Privacy concerns. Avoiding biased or unfair conclusions. So these are all the things that you have to know as far as the problems are concerned, type of problems. So we have seen data quality problems. We have seen data integration and access issues, data interpretation, okay, data interpretation and insight generation, technical and tool-related challenges, business understanding problem, predictive and prescriptive analytical changes, and ethical and privacy concerns. Okay, any difficulty with this up till here? Anything that you have not understood? All points clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now let us take types of problems. Types of problems. Okay, very interesting, because this will help you to understand कि data analytics में क्या-क्या हो सकता है. Types of problems. Can you tell me what are the types of problems that can be encountered? That we have seen data quality problems in it. But there is another way in which we can classify these problems. Instead of saying types of problems, I would put it as classification of problems. Classification of problems. So let us have two different terms. One is type of problems to be encountered. One is classification of problems. Can you tell me how can we classify the problems? Very interesting. Anyone?
Sir, classification of problem like system and then user. Like user is a very much you can say user is less qualified. Then system is like a low power system which has like no GPU at all, and older PCs like which may not be able to run newer type of PDFs and data. So like this type of like user, and then we have system, then like warehouses type data where we are
No,
getting
we
data
are
from.
talking about a classification of problems. You have to classify the problems in groups, in certain common groups.
Okay.
And how do we classify them? I'll tell you. It is depending upon uh, either the cause of the problem, the nature of the problem, or the nature of the outcomes.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Okay, first example I will give you. Then maybe you can tell me other things. First is problems with unknown causes. Like this, you have to classify. So I've given you one example. Problems with unknown causes.
सर known causes भी होगा ना, just like unknown there will be like known causes, so we can rectify those things. So problem with known causes.
It is like this. Problems with unknown causes. problems with irrelevant clauses, problems with known solutions, but uncertain outcomes. Fourth, problems with known solutions, but certain outcomes. So here it is not but it will be and certain outcomes. Four classifications. You see, that is why I changed the terminology from types of problems to classification of problems. Because type of problems अगर बोलेंगे तो we'll have to write this. Classification of problems means how do you classify the problems into different categories. So different categories may when we are classifying. The first one is problems with unknown causes. Problems come into existence, but the root cause of the problem is not clear. And since the root cause is not clear, we have to investigate, we have to analyze, we have to identify the underlying cause, the root cause, before we start solving the problem. For example, I must have done lot of advertising campaigns, lot of sales promotion for my product, which is an existing product. But in spite of doing that, there is a sudden decrease in the sales. So I have undertaken lot of advertising expenditure. I have undertaken a lot of sales promotion activities. But in spite of that, my sales have dropped. All of a sudden. So it is an unknown cause. Without any obvious reasons. So I have to investigate. I have to analyze. I have to identify what is the underlying cause. What is the main reason? इतना करने के बावजूद भी मेरा revenue, the sales drop हो गया. Second, problems with irrelevant causes. Those which involve causes that do not actually affect the problem. Directly, which affect me. But maybe considered as reasons by mistake. They are not actually affecting the problem. But people have misunderstood. And they are assuming that these are the reasons. Irrelevant causes. मसला कुछ है और जो हल निकालने के लिए बात करें वो कुछ अलग से ही हो. Because the reason for that particular thing, people have not understood. So they are talking about irrelevant things. कि ऐसा हुआ होगा. So for this purpose, we have to carefully analyze and filter out all the noise, we call it as noise, or distractions which are there. So let us say that in a football team, opposite party ने आके गोल किया. Your team is very strong, but the opposite party was really stronger than you. and it managed to score a goal. Can you blame one of your team member and say that it is because of you that that goal was scored? Because of his inefficiency. Can you blame the team? Not possible. Cricket match में भी होता है. You lose a particular match. You have been winning 9 out of 10 matches. The last match you lost. Can you blame one team member for that? You can't. Virat Kohli in 9 matches में he has won the match for the team. Last match में he did not win. There is a law of averages. That quarter, the last match में वो नहीं खेला. He did not play well. But you can't expect him to play well every time. So that may not be the reason why the team has lost. The team has lost because the other players did not play. Normally he used to play and single-handedly win the match for you. तो बाकी सब लोगों का चांस ही नहीं आता. अभी बाकी लोगों का चांस आया. They have miserably failed. You can't blame Kohli for not performing. It is an irrelevant cause. Every time he cannot win matches. बराबर. Third classification. Problems with known solutions but uncertain outcomes. Problems with known solution. Solution मालूम है, but uncertain outcomes. You know how to address the problem. Solution मालूम है. But by applying that particular solution, the result जो निकलेगा वो unpredictable, uncertain out. एक जमाना होता था. एक जमाना होता था जब when we used to teach and even when we were students, हम लोग कुछ गलती करते थे. टीचर एक कान के नीचे बजा दे. Even when I was teaching in the initial part of my teaching career, very strict with the students. Even now, offline lecture, I don't allow any nonsense in the class. That is why the results come. I tell the students, you may hate me for anything, but when you get your results, you'll understand why I was strict with you inside the class. Outside the class, I'm friendly with everyone. But inside the class, I maintain that discipline. ऐसे मजाक कर लेता हूं. But when it comes to studies, I'm serious. No distraction. Total focus on the board. If I'm solving, they are also solving. ऐसा atmosphere हो. So there was a time when we students used to make mistakes. Teacher used to beat us. We will go and complain to our parents कि teacher ने आज हमको class में लगाया. Parents will come to the school or the college and say और दो लगाओ. वो एक जमाना था. अभी ऐसा करेंगे तो ह्यूमन राइट्स वाले पहले आए, पेरेंट्स बाद में आए. पहले ह्यूमन राइट्स वाले आएंगे and they will create a ruckus. कि how can you touch a student? Then parents will come कि मेरे बच्चे को क्यों मार. So you know that this particular solution is correct because they say spare the rod and spoil the child. So in that case, if you spare the rod, the child is spoiled. Ultimately, you are there for what? Just a few days back. I don't know whether you are there on LinkedIn or not. अगर LinkedIn पे हो तो you can just go and check one of my posts. एक student, I taught that student for CMA. It's a professional course. फिर वो student को बोला CMA is covering 30 to 40% of another course, professional course, CPA. वो भी करो. And I motivated that student. And she was in one of the big four. बिग फोर मतलब वो KPMG, E&Y, PwC. So she was working in one of the big four. I told her, leave the job. So mark my words, leave the job. CPA complete karo. The same company is going to call you back for a double pay. So she was very reluctant to do so. एक तो उसको बैकिंग के लिए कोई नहीं था. I was the person motivating her, but nobody to support her from her house because both her parents were illiterate, uneducated. Qualification नहीं थी, 10th भी नहीं हुआ, both the parents. So she was not getting any support from parents. So nobody to give her additional backing कि चलो सर ने ऐसा बोला है तो करते हैं. But this girl did it. She left her job. एक साल घर पे बैठी, CPA कंप्लीट किया. Recently she completed her CPA. And the same thing happened. The same company where she was working earlier called her and gave her a higher position with a double pay. पहले उसको 6 लाख मिलता था पर annum. अभी उसका पे कुछ 14 lakhs हो गया पर more than that. She has written a beautiful message. WhatsApp message डाला था. I posted it on LinkedIn because that message was really an emotional one, because she said that my parents are not educated, but they are proud that you have made their daughter educated and you have taken their daughter to a higher. So, see, what are going to be the results? You can't say. The results, the outcome may be totally different, but you know the solution. Solution मालूम कि ये करने से ये होगा. But whether it will happen or not, that depends upon the student. That depends upon circumstances in a company. So this is where solution is known. But what will be the outcome of that solution? You don't know. The same thing I'm telling you also. The purpose and objective of internship, my purpose and my objective, I don't know what others are doing. My purpose and my objective, why did I get into this internship business? I was not into this at all. I was only focusing on teaching, data analytics, and all professional courses like CMA, ACCA, CPA, CFA, all these things. So when Imarticus said that we are having internships also, internship batches also, I said, Chalo, I want to do something for students. Let the students get some basic knowledge about the course that they are in. That was the objective, but the result was not, because I never knew what will be the outcome. How seriously a student will take depends upon student to student, from batch to batch. So if you take the internship seriously, you can go places. If you don't do it and you are doing it only for the purpose of attendance, my purpose is lost, your purpose is lost. So solution malum hai. I told you, there is a gap between your academics and your industry requirement. That gap we are trying to fulfill. But if you don't cooperate, then in spite of doing the internship, you will be at the same place, saying the same story, कि jobs nahi mil. So, solution is known, but outcome is not. Right? Classic example of. Last one. Solution is known, problems with known solutions and known outcomes, certain outcomes. These are well understood problems. That means I understood the problem very well. I know what is the solution. And I know that this particular solution will help me to solve the problem, fix the issue, resolve the issue. For example, a software has got a bug. So fixing that software bug with a known patch. With a known patch. So problem मालूम है, solution मालूम है, और उसका outcome भी perfect. certain. That is your fourth category of or classification of. Okay. Any difficulty now?
No, sir.
Let us go to the next one. Steps for solving problem. Steps for solving problem. Step number 1. प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए पहले? फर्स्ट यू हैव टू फ्रेम द प्रॉब्लम. Second, what you have to do? Analyze the problem. Third, what you will do? Analyze the possible solutions. Fourth, what you will do? Implement the solution. Solution, once you have analyzed all the possible solutions, implement the solution. Okay. So now let us see each one of them, starting with the first. Framing the problem. Framing the problem in so. What is the problem? What is the content? Make a distinction between facts and opinions. Prioritize the key issues and come out with a problem statement. So framing the problem, it is not a small process. The first and most important step, framing the problem, is to prepare what should be the outcome of this. Prepare what is called as a problem statement. You will end up, there is a possibility, there is a high probability that you may end up not getting the desired outcome. Not getting the desired outcome. So, but still, you will try to frame the problem, come out with a problem statement. Now, in this particular case, we will try to define an activity and see what are the questions that are to be asked to get the answer to that particular activity. Okay. So, what is the activity? Let us try to get the activity first. And you can try to tell me as to what should be the possible question that can be asked for this activity. Activity is establishing the need for a solution. Establishing the need for a solution. What are the questions that we can ask with? The question that we can ask over here. Why do we require to have a solution? Why do we require to have a solution? Or what is the desired outcome that the stakeholder wants? Remember, we did defining the problem, understanding the business. What is the desired outcome that the stakeholder wants? Or who benefits from the solution and why? If you answer these type of questions, then you will get the answer to your activity, establishing the need for a solution. Second, justify the need for a solution. How will you justify that this particular solution is required? You'll ask the question. Are all the efforts which are going to get the solution aligned with our business strategy, aligned with our business goals? Second, what are the benefits we are trying to justify the need for the solution? What are the desired benefits of that solution to the company? Of that solution to the company. Remember again, we are trying to justify the need for the solution. How do we measure these benefits? You can ask the question, what are the desired benefits? How do we measure these benefits? How do we implement these solutions? So these are the questions to be asked for the activity of justifying the need for the solution. Third one, contextualize the problem. Here, what we have to ask, what are the approaches or the strategies that we have tried to get a solution? What are the approaches or the strategies that we have tried to get a solution? Second, what are the approaches or strategies that our competitors have for getting similar solutions solved? So what is the thing that I have done to get a solution? What are the strategies that my competitor has done to get a solution? What are the internal and external constraints on implementing the solution? That is called contextualizing the problem. The last step is finding the solution. For finding the solution, you will ask the question, is the given problem made up of different other problems? What are the requirements that the solution to this problem should have? And which problem solvers or which data analysts should be engaged in? Okay, so this is the first part of the steps. So the first thing that you have to do is whenever there is an issue, whenever there is a problem, don't jump to give decisions. Not to jump to give the solution immediately. So whenever I go to a company and company says कि ये particular project है, इसमें ये particular problem आ रहा है, what is the solution? I never commit to it. They say I have to first study the project. Because without knowing the project, how can I give solutions? They may have told me the problem, but the problem should be solved in relation to the context of the project. The context of the project. So until and unless I know what is the background, how can I give a decision? So never jump to conclusions. Never jump to solutions immediately. On the other hand, you and your team should first find out whether you are working on the correct problem or not, whether you are having enough data to understand that problem. Right? So this is what you have to do as the first step. Second step, not second step actually. In this first step, you have to make a distinction. I told you, you have to make a distinction between facts and opinions. Okay, facts and opinions. What is a fact? Can you tell me? What is a fact and what is an opinion? What is the difference?
So fact is like the actual thing, or you can say the reality. For example, if I know my data is very well, but my model is not performing, so I know the fact that model is very much needed. Model needed the work, and I need to improve my model. So you can say that is the fact. And what was the other thing?
Fact is like, for example, I say that the Earth and the other planets revolve around the sun. That is a fact. Now, can you establish this fact? Yes, it can be observed, it can be measured, it can be validated, it can be proved. So, fact is something, some piece of information which can be measured, which can be observed, which can be validated, which can be proved. Okay. So, if I say that the Earth and the other planets move around the sun, that is a fact. What is an opinion? Opinion is a personal view which may be influenced by bias, which may be influenced by the individual's characteristic, which may be influenced by the individual's way of thinking, what we call psyche. So there is a possibility of ambiguity. There is a possibility of ambiguity. For example, Dell company manufactures a laptop. It's a fact. But Dell company ka laptops are one of the best laptops. Is an opinion, which may not be correct. It is individual's choice, individual's opinion, individual's personal view. Lenovo is manufacturing laptops. It's a fact. Lenovo is manufacturing one of the best laptops. I don't. It's my opinion. You may not like it. You may have problems and issues with it. That is an opinion. Okay. So in this case, you have to separate between your facts and opinion. Okay. No difficulty. So
No, sir.
here you have framed the problem. Second is analyze the problem. Framing the problem also is a part of analyzing. Because if you are framing the problem, making use of smart framework. What is smart framework? What is smart framework? Smart framework is nothing but analysis. Smart, S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for actionable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for time. Okay? Specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time. That is your smart tech. So, the next crucial step after you make a distinction between facts and opinions is to analyze the problem making use of something like a smartphone. Properly defining the problem is very much essential because that will define the direction in which your problem solving activities are going to go. This importance of a clear problem framework is very much emphasized by all data analysts. It was analyzed also by Albert Einstein. Okay. Einstein used to say that if I have 1 hour to solve a problem, very famous word. If I have 1 hour to solve the problem, I will spend 55 minutes to understand the problem, thinking about the problem, and 5 minutes thinking about the solution. Because if I don't understand the problem well, I will not be able to give you the solution. The solution will become all the more difficult. So Albert Einstein said that if I have 1 hour to solve the problem, I will spend 55 minutes. That is major part, 90 to 95% of my time. I'll spend on thinking about the problem and 5 minutes thinking about the solution. So this shows the critical role of understanding a problem, articulating the problem to find out an effective solution. Okay, so how to do this? This is to be done with the help of smart technique. Fine. So we'll end over here. We'll continue in the next session as to what is a smart technique. And accordingly, I will be also starting with Python. So that is why I asked you that you have to download Anaconda Navigator. Have you been able to get this? Anaconda Navigator?
Yes, sir.
You can go to Google or Yahoo and look out for this Anaconda Navigator. And I've shown you how the interface is going to look like. So accordingly, you can download and check also, right? You should be having Jupyter Notebook in that because we require Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Lab is also there, so you can check out for that also. Then I think Pandas is there, NumPy is there. Okay, so all those things are there. So you can I'll just show you also if I'm able to open it right now. Because Python, we will be working on Jupyter Notebook. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is what you should be getting once you download your Anaconda Navigator and open it. Okay, so PyCharm, Anaconda Toolbox, Anaconda Cloud Notebooks, PowerShell Prompt, Anaconda Prompt, Jupyter Lab, and Jupyter Notebook. This is what we are going to make use of. We can make use of Jupyter Lab also. Okay, so these are the things: Spider, EduBlocks, Oracle, Python Anywhere, PyScript. All these things are there. So just check it out. RStudio is there. Okay, so you should be able to get this. And after you get this, what we'll be doing is we'll be, as I said, working with the Jupyter Notebook. And for doing that, I will have to first launch this. And as I launch Jupyter Notebook, you can just open it and check also. You will be getting something like this. Can you see this?
Yes, sir,
Let's see this.
visible.
So we'll be getting something like this. Now I've already uh, got a particular file in my name, and in that I have taken some lectures on Python. So whatever I've done over there, you can see that all these things I've done. So I was teaching for another batch, data analytics with Python. So likewise, one internship batch is there, that is the batch prior to us. So for them also, we have worked out a few examples with Python. So that is also done. So like this, you will be having your Jupyter notebooks where can you see this? Jupyter internship May 2026. So we had solved over there, working with Python. So these were the things that we had done. So similar things we will be starting with in the next session. We'll be starting with Python. I'll complete this particular part of smart technique and then we will move on to starting with Python. Okay. So just a minute. So, how many of you have downloaded Python? Sorry, downloaded Anaconda. All of you have downloaded.
Yes, sir, I have.
So those who have not downloaded, when are you going to download? Yeah. Anyone who has not downloaded? How many of you have not downloaded? You can raise your hands. Everyone has downloaded. Anybody had problems in downloading? Purnima, download किया. Neha, have you downloaded?
Yes, sir.
Anand,
Yes, sir, downloaded it.
okay. Urvi,
Yes, sir.
so next session, next week, mostly it will be on Tuesday only, from 3 to 5. And in between, that is by tomorrow or day after, I'll give you a small project also to work on. Okay? Yes, Prachi.
क्या टाइमिंग चेंज हो सकता है 3 to 5 वाला?
3 to 5, you were asked na, ki whether you are comfortable or not. You have said that it is comfortable.
सर एक्चुअली हमारी कॉलेज का टाइमिंग 4:30 का अराउंड छूट रहा है। आज हम लोग थोड़े जल्दी छूट गए, इसलिए वो हम लोग ट्रैवलिंग के टाइम, और कल भी उस पिछले लेक्चर में भी वैसा ही हुआ था।
No, but I think your faculties are allowing you to sit for the internship. If you tell them that you're going for internship, they will allow you. Just have a word with your faculty. Because I think Rajkumar had asked in the group whether there's any problem with the timing, and everybody was comfortable because most of you are having morning lectures.
सर एक्चुअली द टाइमिंग हैज चेंज्ड, इट्स फ्रॉम 10 o'clock to 4:30.
Okay, I'll just ask 1 minute. Rajkumar should be there. He's there. Rajkumar is not there, I think. So I'll just ask Rajkumar to check up with the college and with you all also. So he will be putting a message in the group. Just respond to the message, right?
ओके सर,
Thank you. Have a nice day.